Look, I've just left the lockdown area, moving back through the Sydney CBD back to my workplace, and the rest of Sydney's going ahead. Of course, commuters everywhere, a lot of people out Christmas shopping, but in the heart of Martin Place, where this siege is, it is an evacuation zone. Police have cordoned off what is at least one city block, perhaps two city blocks around this cafe. It's a horrendous situation, a very difficult and terrifying situation for Sydney at the moment. There is a train station just underneath that cafe that has also been shut down. That line has been closed down, and office buildings around the cafe have been evacuated. So police have cordoned off a large area and keeping people right out of that area. It's been going on for just 3.5 hours now. So we're just hoping that police can resolve that situation without anybody getting hurt.
Chris, the fact that this is in Martin Place, describe to us how significant that is. Like you said, the evacuation is happening, but is this a very densely populated area because it's the end of the year, festivities, are people on leave, things like that?
Martin Place is in the centre of the Sydney CBD, and the Martin Place train station is a busy one, full of shoppers and business people, office workers going about their daily business. I was in the cafe this morning at 9:30am getting a takeaway coffee. As I left, the people in there, about a dozen people, were sitting around tables, drinking coffee, chatting as they normally would be. There were 3 or 4 staff. Within minutes of that, this situation unfolded. I still don't know whether the gunman was in there when I was in the cafe or whether he entered in a minute or two later while I was sitting outside the cafe drinking a takeaway coffee. Immediately when police arrived and a woman was talking about a man with what she thought was a shotgun, my first thought was, if they're talking about a hold-up, it's a very unusual, unlikely target for a hold-up. 9:30 on a Monday morning, a city cafe wouldn't have a lot of cash. So very immediately we're starting to think there was something else at play there. I saw a man with his hands up against the glass and initially was relieved thinking the police had gone in there and when this was the gunman responding to the police. But then the horrific realisation dawned on us that this was one of the customers, and we saw other customers lined up against those windows as the police cleared us out of there, and very heavily armed police riot squads moved in and cordoned off the area. So it was a horrific situation, but of course we now know that it's someone waving that Islamic flag, trying to draw attention to something. Whether he's acting alone or in concert with others, we don't know. But I can tell you that that cafe, because it's right in a busy open area where shoppers and commuters frequent, because it's above a very important city railway station, and because it's directly across in clear line of sight from one of the major television news networks here, then obviously it's a place where you can draw a lot of attention and have a large impact, and that is certainly what's happened today right in the heart of Sydney.
Chris, just as a final point, you mentioned an evacuation of the immediate area. How goes the evacuation? Is it calm? Is it orderly?
Yeah, it was quite calm and orderly. A lot of people walking out, looking quite concerned, as you would imagine, but not running, not hurried, well organised by the police. They were just taken out of those offices. Even an hour later, they were still deciding to evacuate more and more buildings just to clear the area altogether of people who don't need to be there. So it was very calm, very orderly, but of course very tense.